And oh, I stopped in Van Buren, Arkansas for a charge. That was crazy. Because you know how everybody says that people in Arkansas like don't have front teeth and stuff? Well, hello everyone. Welcome back. And you're probably all asking, where are you? Why does it sound different? Why does it look different? So, for you longtime listeners, I'm here to tell you, this is my first show on the road. I'm on the road. I'm in a hotel room. It's kind of weird. I don't know if I like it, but we're going to make it work. I'm in Bentonville, Arkansas. You ever been here? It's kind of like the Truman Show. Everything's brand new. Everybody here works at Walmart. Yesterday I was walking down the street and I saw a group of people go into the Walmart museum, and they were very obviously like interns. And it just made me feel like, wow, I'm really far removed from that stage of life where you're an intern and you follow people around in a group and you're just very obviously in that. You're just very identifiable. Okay. Am I getting old? I don't know. Maybe. But it's an interesting place. So you're probably also wondering, what do we want to talk about this week? And here's what I have to say. I thought that today, since you're all longtime loyal listeners, everybody's still here, we're going to talk about what it's like to be a small time YouTuber, what it's really like to be a small time YouTube influencer. Because I thought this was funny. You know, sometimes I do read the comments. I say this a lot, but I don't read them that much. I just look every once in a while. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. I just saw this. This is just like what's on my mind. So last week I talked about how your phone is ruining your something. I don't know. Whatever. I was talking about my phone. And somebody commented and they said, you don't have to record every single thought on the video. This is useless. And I kind of giggled because let's just think about the power dynamics here for a minute. I got 106 followers on YouTube. Feel pretty good about it too. I'm not going to lie. I haven't told anybody that I know that I have a YouTube channel. That's not exactly entirely true, but it's mostly true. I never asked anybody to follow me on YouTube, but there's 106 people out there that do. I don't know why. I literally have no idea why. Never told anybody to. It is what it is. And then this person commented and said, I don't have to record every single thought on the video. This is useless. Who's winning here? Like, you spent part of your life watching this video that you didn't even have to watch. And then you spent even more energy commenting that. You probably spent more energy writing that out than I did, like recording the video. Because quite honestly, I don't even remember what I record when I put these videos on. Because let me tell you what my life is really like. I go about my things every week and I don't take any notes and I just operate like normal. And then every 2 weeks, I sit in front of this camera because I have to, because somebody else puts all these YouTube videos together and they barking up my ass every single week saying, hey, you need to record, you need to record, you need to record. And I do it the last possible second. That's how I do it every single time. And I don't have any notes ever. And I just sit here and record. And then it just gets published. And so like, I don't even remember what I'm talking about most of the time when I'm like recording a podcast. Like somebody will tell me, hey, I heard you, talking about this thing, whatever, on your show. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I said that. Because I don't actually like, there's no like discernment in my brain between this, like me talking to the camera right now, versus me like having a Zoom call that I was just on for the last 5 hours before this. Because I didn't spend any time and energy preparing for this. I probably spend way more time and energy preparing for like all the other random Zoom calls that I have to do all the time. But yet there's people out there who say, I don't have to record every single thought on video. This is useless. I don't know. It kind of cracks me up. I get like some sort of sick humor out of it. It gives me superpower, super strength. Speaking of power dynamics, here's another one. So I am now living in a rental house. That is, it's like fine. It's okay, I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. Because I'm remodeling my house. Okay. We talked about this. Well, now I have. So I moved out of my house, my normal house, in January. What is it? May. I've probably made 7 service calls to my landlord at this point. Like there is 0% chance he's made any money on my house. I'm not going to lie. I need to quantify it, and I don't know what he wants to charge for his time, but let's make up a number. There's just no chance he's making any money because we've had the AC go out twice in the last month, and there's just no chance. The locks go out. Yeah, I had to replace like 3 locks. Who even knew like a lock could stop working? Well, it did. This is what happens when you live in a house that's built in 1951. Um, yeah, the locks like don't really work. The AC keeps breaking. Um, and on Wednesday, this week, it hit 100 degrees for the first time this year in Austin, Texas. 100 degrees. Uh, I don't know about you, but that's pretty hot, okay? And did you know that there's a rule, at least in Texas, I don't know, maybe it's in other places, that if you're a landlord, you have to provide like a space that is at least 80 degrees or cooler to your tenant. That's actually a requirement. You cannot lease a space that's like more than that. If it is more than that, it is illegal. Um, did you know that? Well, I know that. Now you all know that. See, we're learning things together. At any rate, I was busy working because I have a job and I work. Well, I don't really have a job. I work. I was doing stuff. It doesn't matter what. But I was doing stuff all day. And then when I was done with the stuff that I was doing, which like was at 5 or 6 o'clock, which is like kind of a normal time to be done with stuff that you're doing for the day. We could admit that. I went inside my house because that's when I was done. And I got home and it was hot. And I went over to the AC and the AC screen was black. So I put 2 and 2 together and I said, oh, the AC must be out. Then we proceeded to cook dinner, which made it hotter. And then we hit up the landlord and said, hey, the AC's out. Now, to his credit, he was very nice. He was out of town. He said, oh, I'll have to get that guy, whatever the guy's name is, I don't know, the AC guy, back on that tomorrow morning. But he said, I'll get you a hotel room for the night. So there goes more of his profit. Honestly, it was kind of nice. I kind of wish, like, every time my AC goes out of my real house that I bought, I wish I could just call up my insurance company and say, hey, my AC's out. Can you put me up in a hotel room? More people should be renting. I'll say it. It's kind of a nice life. No, houses just break and then you have to fix things. But when you rent, things break and you get to call somebody else to fix them. It's awesome. So that was another thing that happened. And then, let's see, that was Wednesday. What else did I do? I should put all this on YouTube, right? Camera following me around. Just kidding. I drove to Arkansas. I'm in Arkansas right now. I said that already. Have you ever driven through Oklahoma to get to Arkansas? I will say Oklahoma is a little bit underrated. You know, you drive through the back roads, there's like actual hills and trees and then like lakes. Who knew? In Oklahoma. I passed like a bunch of casinos and I really wanted to stop, but the problem was I drove my Tesla from Austin to Bentonville. And the thing is, when you drive a Tesla for a very long road trip, which I would call that a long road trip, let's say, the Tesla kind of tells you where you get to drive. You don't really have a choice because there's only so many superchargers that exist. And in rural Oklahoma, there are precisely 0. There are no superchargers in the back roads. Not a thing. I looked for them. So the only way that you can practically drive through Oklahoma from Texas to get to Arkansas is you have to stay on the interstate. It is impossible otherwise. If not, you will run out of battery. If you run out of battery, that's a bad situation because you can't just sit there and like stick your thumb out and hope that somebody can just, pick you up so you can go to get a gas can full of gas and fill your car back up. Nope. You get to sit there and call Tesla service and wait for somebody to come, mobile charge your car, however long that's going to take. They say they'll do it, and I don't really want to test it. That's what Tesla says. They say if you run out of gas or you have a flat tire, even there's no like spare tires in these cars. This is something I learned. You literally have to get on the app and dial 911 or whatever, and they will come fix it. But if you're in rural Oklahoma, how long do you think that's going to take? Like, where's the nearest service truck? I have no idea. Does it even work? Who knows? I thought Elon's busy doing other stuff. He might be. At any rate, I didn't want to take that chance. So the Tesla tells you where to drive. Well, here's the deal. From Austin to Bentonville, normally, in a normal cycle, hold on. If you have a normal car, let's see what the map says. Do you guys like Apple Maps or Google Maps? Doesn't matter because now I'm using Apple Maps. Okay. From my house, I'm not going to tell you my address, but from my house, let's see, directions. Ooh, directions to me right now. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I guess there's more than one house that has the same address in the state of Texas. Yep, whatever. Okay, my house to where I'm at right now in Arkansas on Apple Maps is 7 hours and 52 minutes. But if you take the route that I had to take, which is not even really a route here, you can't really do it. It's not even a default route. You have to go like out of the way to do this. It is at least 8 hours and 54 minutes. It's like closer to 9.5, I would say, based on the route that you have to take. And that doesn't even include charging time. So the thing is with this Tesla app, it tells you where to go and where to charge and then how long you have to charge there. The problem is that these projections are like way off. They're not even close. For instance, there was like a stretch that was 200 miles between chargers. Okay. You ever driven 200 miles without filling up your gas tank? Of course you have. Everybody does it all the time. It's not even a question. Well, I had a 200-mile stretch between chargers. My car's rated for 300 miles. That's a lot more than 200, right? Well, I filled my car up with juice, whatever you call it, battery. I charged the battery, put Tesla juice in the Tesla. And then when I started driving, it said, oh, you're projected to have like 10% battery available by the time you get there. And I was like, hold on a second. That means I'm going to use up 30% of, hold on, 90% of my battery to drive 200 miles. But my battery is rated for 300. It's actually 330. It's just been degraded to 300. So you're telling me that my battery doesn't know how much juice it has? I don't know how it does. Like, how can you say that your battery has so much juice and then it just doesn't? It doesn't make any sense. Other than that, Teslas are fine, but it's impossible to plan a road trip. Well, not really. You just have to be willing to spend the hours. So I turned what should have been 7 hours and 52 minutes into over 10. I spent over 10 hours driving from Austin to Bentonville. And you know what I did on that drive? I had to stop, let's see, 4 charges. And every time I charged, I stopped, I plugged in, and then I took my phone out, did the little thing where you can get the internet on your phone, on your computer. What's it called? Hotspot. Got my little hotspot on, logged in, did some work, traded some accounts, checked the market. Was it compliant? Maybe. I don't know. Probably. I think so. My computer's pretty locked down. And oh, I stopped in Van Buren, Arkansas for a charge. That was crazy. Because you know how everybody says that people in Arkansas like don't have front teeth and stuff? And then for whatever reason, like the second I crossed from Oklahoma into Arkansas, because I was in Oklahoma for a good bit, it's like the entire demographic changed. Like literally, people didn't have front teeth. It was wild. They were like the most hillbilly looking people I've ever seen. This lady in front of me at the gas station, like she wasn't even like, I'm not trying to be mean. She just wasn't very audible. Like she couldn't put words together. I think she had her teeth. So maybe like you either get one or the other. You can have teeth, but you can't say things very good. That's what Arkansas was like. But then I got to Bentonville and there's like normal people here because it's a company town, I wonder what Bentonville would have been like if there's no Walmart. I wonder what American retail would have been like if there's no Walmart. Walmart's the biggest employer in the country. Did you know that? Let's look up some Walmart facts. How many employees does Walmart have? Approximately 2.1 million associates, 19 countries, 1.6 million associates in the US. Okay, so how many workers are in the US? There's 164 million. So quite literally 1% of the people who have jobs in America work at Walmart. You know how crazy that is? Like if Walmart goes under, the unemployment rate goes up like 20%. By the way, that's the jump from 4 to 5% is a 20% jump. I know some of you guys are slow, but if you need to pause this, do that in your head. That's a 20% jump in unemployment. That's pretty nuts for one company. Mind you, Walmart runs their whole business on like 3% margins. Pretty insane. How much revenue does Walmart do? 441 billion in wait, $681 billion. That's last year. $681 billion. That is most of the way to $1 trillion. What I think is also pretty wild is like I'm going through this town that I'm in. You can kind of see this building. Maybe it doesn't show up on the camera. I don't know. But that's like a brand new building. And it is not a Walmart building. But I can guarantee you that building only exists because Walmart's here. Whoever has jobs in that building only has jobs because they're probably selling something to Walmart. Probably. I bet you there's like 20 companies in this town that literally their only clients Walmart or like whatever. They exist just because of Walmart. $681 billion in revenue. That is a lot. But hold on. How much net profit does Walmart do? Net income for 2025. I guess net profit, net income, whatever. Net profit was $19.4 billion. 681 in sales, 19 in actual profits. That is 2.85%. I think Google AI is right. Google AI is kind of dumb. That's just an aside. Maybe I'll have a different episode on how stupid Google AI is. I think that's right. Can you guys do math? Yeah, that's right. $19 billion on 681 billion. That's 2.85. I don't think that you could recreate Walmart. I was thinking about that because here's the thing. Nobody would ever give you money if your business model was, let's run it 3%. Like nobody, like if I'm a VC and I'm like, I have a bunch of money and I need to invest it in a company, I would never go, oh yeah, this looks like a deal. 3% margins. Yeah, let's do it. Because the amount of like footprint and infrastructure you'd have to do just to scale that thing is like very difficult to do. And there's a lot of operational risk. Like there's certain businesses that don't really have that much operational risk just because the product itself kind of does everything for you. You know, if you're selling a widget or something, you just ship off the widget and like other people, they just download it and they mess with it and you can solve their problems or not. Walmart has a ton of operational risk, right? You got like hundreds of employees at these stores. You're dealing with thousands of customers potentially at these stores, times 1.6 million employees across the country, 2.1 across the world. That is a lot of infrastructure, a lot of people to deal with. The only way to do that like actually effectively is you have to have systems. The only way to do systems correctly is to build them over time and slowly organically do this. Like you could not just get me to invest in a company that says, hey guys, here's the business plan. We're going to build 1,000 stores, 1 million new stores across the whole world. We're going to hire up 1% of the US workforce, and then we're going to sell a bunch of stuff at the lowest price possible. Nobody would invest in that. Granted, the business model works. It clearly does, but the only way to practically do that is to kind of do that like on your own. You can't really raise money for that. And I don't know if anybody's going to be able to replace them quickly, you know? Like it would be a very long cycle for a business like Walmart to just evaporate. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. I hadn't thought about it until just now. See, this is what I do. I just look random things up and then we talk about them. Okay, Walmart. Should we buy the stock? Let's check it out. Walmart. How do you guys look up stocks? You'd think I'd know this. Just kidding. I know how to look stocks up, but I'm on an iPad. I don't really think that an iPad's a good thing to look stocks up on. I'm more of a computer guy. I'll say it. Okay, iPad. Walmart stock. $98 a share. Okay, so in 2020, because that's COVID, right? That's what matters. It was $40. So now we've over doubled. And in fact, December of 2023, it was $50. So we've doubled in 15 months. Oh, they came out with a thing that says, let's see, Walmart CFO says price hikes from tariffs could start later this month. You know what? You know what's funny? I got a push notification on my phone. I shouldn't read them. I should get 0 push notifications. That'll be a much better way to live, but I'm not fully optimized yet. I got a push notification on my phone yesterday, actually. And it was, the Wall Street Journal. Why did I get the Wall Street Journal? I have no idea. I don't have a subscription. But the Wall Street Journal, it said, Walmart set to raise prices this month. That's all it said, pretty much. Do I still have it? Probably not. Okay, I just got a text. It says, hey, I might be totally off here, but is this William? It's from a 512 number. I've been getting so many random spam texts lately that kind of look like real looking. Sorry. Walmart's set to raise prices this month. But then here's the article. The headline of the article, this is on a different site though. This is CNBC. What do you believe? Walmart CFO says price hikes from tariffs could start later this month as retailer beats on earnings. So they could. So does that mean they will? They could. I don't know what's going on with this. I saw something this week because everybody's talking about these tariffs or whatever, and maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we won't. But somebody was talking about how, we won't feel the effects of the tariffs for another month because, it takes so long to get a ship across the sea. It takes like a long time to do that. I don't know if you know that. I've never taken a ship across the sea and I don't plan to, but it takes a while. It's not overnight. Everybody, like the common news that I've seen is like, oh, we won't feel the effects of this until like a month from now because no ships come over. There's gonna be a shortage of stuff, yada, 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 whatever. And then somebody like tweeted this week and they're like, yeah, there's 98 ships on their way to the port of Los Angeles right now. Last year, there were 93 at this time. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe that was a lie, but that seems different than all the other stuff I've heard. Who knows? Maybe it'll be another month. Maybe it'll never happen. Maybe people just keep buying stuff. I did actually have my first experience with tariffs the other day. I was trying to buy something. I was trying to buy $600 worth of coffee cups. Why was I trying to do that? Because I don't know. I just really wanted them. I did. I'm opening a new office and I just really want nice coffee mugs. I don't know. It's this weird thing I have. Okay. So I went on to, this is real, some Canadian coffee mug maker. Let's see. Acme Coffee. Yeah, Acme, ACME, Acme. They make premium coffee mugs. Yeah, Acme Cups. So this is what's confusing. Acme Cups USA. I read that like they're based in the USA. Well, they're not. Because if you scroll to the bottom, Acme Cups USA is a division of 8-ounce coffee. Orders shipped from our warehouses in Calgary, Canada. All prices are in USD. Anyway, I rolled up onto here and I was like, I'm going to buy a lot of coffee mugs. Let me see if I can get a wholesale discount. So I like typed in my little thing, said, hey, I'm trying to get these like coffee mugs. It's a real business. Help. And then they said, yeah, you can have a wholesale account here. Or they should have done that for me. I don't know. But I got like a 50% discount. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And so I literally put my order in for like $600 of coffee mugs. And it looked like all normal and stuff. Just had the price. And then I got to the checkout screen and it literally had like a 100% markup. It said like import fees or something like that. It didn't say tariffs. It said something else, but I could tell it was tariffs. And I was like, oh, I'm just not going to buy them then. That's what I said. I was not going to spend $1,200 for $600 worth of coffee mugs. I don't know. I don't even think that's a political statement. I just wasn't going to do it. So then what did I do? I found an American supplier. What the heck was their name though? Oh, you know what I did? I actually went on ChatGPT and I said, hey, I tried to buy some coffee mugs from Acme, but I got hit with the tariffs. Do you have any alternatives? I actually did that. That's what I did. And then they shot out a couple of options. And then I found this one called Not Neutral. Not Neutral. And then I hit them up and said, hey, I'd like a wholesale discount. And they said, okay. And then I got in there. And all of a sudden, my $600 worth of coffee mugs is like kind of the same product as the other guys. My $600 worth of coffee mugs is now worth $600. So that's my story on tariffs. They worked on me. Maybe they'll work on you too. Are they going to work on everybody? Probably not. Here's the deal. Coffee mugs, that's a pretty benign thing. Like you can make coffee mugs anywhere. But other stuff, probably going to be tricky. There is a learning curve to some of this stuff too. I don't think people realize. Like we haven't trained people in how to make, I don't know, iPhones, right? Like, you know how to make an iPhone? I mean, it's probably not that hard. You know what I mean? Like you got to imagine the average IQ of a line worker in China is probably like, relatively speaking, not that high maybe. Like we could probably learn, but we don't have the infrastructure. There's so much like machinery they have and yada, yada, whatever. Who would do that? I don't know. Maybe we'll do it though. I don't know. No, I'm just talking about tariffs. Yeah, so I got these coffee mugs and they're made in the USA and they look nice, but tariffs are pretty real, apparently. I don't know if I have an opinion about them yet. I don't really know if they're going to stick around. I think that's my only opinion. Like, I don't really feel like I need to have an opinion yet because I don't really think they're going to stick around. Can I just say that? Sorry. That's not great. I mean, It's just an opinion. Am I allowed to have that? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't record everything that comes into my brain and put it on the internet. Well, too bad. You know what? I can. You don't have to watch this. I don't really care. It doesn't change my life. It doesn't. I don't watch this. Like, I tell people I have a podcast. They go, "Oh, that's cool," and then I say, "Yeah, I don't know. I never listened to it. I don't know if it's cool. Like, I have no idea what I sound like. I kind of forget." But here we are anyway. So that's this week. Maybe I'll do it again. That's how I feel literally every week I record this. But I'm still here, and so are you. So who's the joke on? Yeah, that's right. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.